It's Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Obiajulo Olabisi Ugbo, and as usual, I have the wonderful ladies of Your View. Nima Akashat Zebiri, how are you doing today?
I'm super excited.
Okay.
Today, my baby Zaid Bello is 4 years old.
Okay.
And Big Mommy is so proud of how Zaid has grown. I'm so happy. You know, the one, some kind love did this world there. I don't doubt them. So Zaid picks up his parents' phone, either mommy or daddy's phone. Hello, Big Mommy. I missed you. That can make my day, anytime. But I'm so loving it. The boy knows how to get me, you know. With me, he can do no wrong. Happy birthday, Arioluwa Zaid Oshoke Bello. I hope you watch this later because he likes to watch YouTube too on the TV. When he comes back to watch Big Mommy, see Big Mommy. So when he sees today's zone, he will know that I shouted out to him.
Happy birthday, Zaid.
Zaid
baby.
Is also symposium, celebration symposium day. What's the environment topic again? But we're focusing on the environment and climate change today.
Okay.
Major speaker for today is the Commissioner for Environment in Lagos State, Okumbo Wahaba. You know you don't want to miss it. Yeah. Find your way to Neka Hall, opposite the shrine, Alausa today, 10 o'clock till 2.
Okay.
And you come and learn, you know, the ways to keep the environment. Thank you, YK and Collaborations, for doing this. It's a timely lecture topic.
It is. It is. Yeah. How are you doing today, Maryam?
I'm doing well. I had a lovely weekend. The land is green. Yes, it is. The environment is green. What can we say? And our country is green. You know, we are hopeful for better things. But I had a lovely weekend, especially because I went out with my mom. We spent the whole Saturday together, and it was just lovely to be able to sit with her. We went to the restaurant, took pictures. You know, we just hung out. I really loved that I did that with her. Yeah, so one of the highlights of my weekend.
Yeah. I don't envy me.
I'm a fresh.
How are you? So Friday we hung out.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we had a great time. We missed.
No karaoke.
I mean, Nima was not going to be part of this.
So you didn't even bother.
She has exempted me.
Yes, ran around for the weekend, but you know, learned that we lost a friend this morning. Yes, so it is what it is. It just shows that life is fleeting. Yes, in a split second, anything can just happen. 1 minute you're there. That's why everybody, all these quarrels, unforgiveness, all this unnecessary drama, it doesn't make sense because honestly, this life, nothing damn. But we thank God for life and
my so sharp.
I love the hair.
I said this week, you know, let me try something new, something different, so that I can call in something new and something different.
Last week was blonde. So
yes, this week is black. You know,
yes, it's really beautiful. I'm happy for you.
Thank you. And how are you? You look gorgeous.
Thank you so much. So Friday I was supposed to hang out with you guys, which I missed. There was a little emergency I had to quickly, handle. Then Saturday I hung out with the Pigeon ladies. After the show, we just went somewhere, had food, good gist, laughter, and all of that. We did that. Then yesterday I was cooking from morning till night.
Wow.
I had to prep meals for a new diet. So I was just from this batch to the other batch so that I can, pack them, get them ready for the whole of the week. Let's see how the diet goes. That's what I did. So after the show, I'm sure I'm going to sleep because I'm sleeping already from inside, but let's see how that goes. That's all we can take here. When we come back, we'll do the newspaper reviews. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. We'll be starting the newspaper reviews with The Nation. Major headline, federal government's ASU, strike may trigger no work, no pay rule. Why Tinubu should be in office till 2023 by Umahi. Zenith Bank pays 51.3 billion interim dividends. Full year outlook strong. Businessman excretes 127 cocaine wraps. Dangote Cement begins operations in Côte d'Ivoire with 3.0 meters of what that means. Metric tons, rather. Stock markets return hits 27 trillion on earning expectations. Finance Minister Edun didn't suffer a stroke, says presidency. Rumpus over introduction of lottery bill in House of Reps after Supreme Court judgment. What stories do we have?
Okay, so the people carrying rumor that the Minister for Finance had suffered a stroke, the this will set all those rumors right. According to the presidential spokesman on information and strategy, Mr. Bayo Ononuga, he says, or there's an anonymous person account in the Nation before he read out what the presidency is stating. So he says that yes, Wale Edun is indisposed, he's 69, he suddenly fell ill, but he's in Nigeria and he's recuperating in Nigeria. And you know, this is because there was rumor that the president will be replacing him because of ill health, but that's not true. And the delegation going to the World Bank and IMF meeting today would be led by the central bank governor, which is the official account from the presidency. Along with that delegation, of course, is the Minister for State for Finance and the Economy, Mrs. Anite. I'm trying to get our official capacity.
So they're confirming he's ill.
Confirming he's ill. Yes, so Dr. Doris Uzoka Anite will be in that delegation. Of course, that is like his second man in command. But yes, he's 69. He suffered ill health, according to the witness account, who is seeking anonymity in the Nation. He says, yes, it was a bit serious, but he wasn't flown out of the country. Presently, he's in his house recuperating. But if his condition doesn't get better, he might need to be flown out, but that does not mean that the presidency is already replacing him because of that. So really, the rumor, small element of truth is inside.
That's how
that you know he is ill, but then that's not the account of the presidency.
And many lies to sandwich it.
Okay, so a 52-year-old businessman, Godwin Emeka Ejiofor, has been arrested by the operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the NDLEA, at the Maryam Aminu Kano International Airport in Kano for concealing 127 wraps of cocaine in his stomach. Yes, the cocaine wraps, they said, were recovered after days under excretion observation. I never heard this one before. So they did excretion observation.
Yes, now they do.
That means you do not see Baba Suwe.
Joke, I did joke. Director of Media and Advocacy, NDLEA headquarters, Abuja, Femi Babafemi, said this in the statement yesterday. He said Ejiofor, who operates boutiques in Lagos, Onitsha, Anambra State, was taken into the custody upon his arrival from Bangkok, Thailand, via Ethiopian Airlines flight ET941 on Wednesday, following credible intelligence. According to the statement, he was taken for body scan, which confirmed he ingested illicit drugs and had some concealed in his private parts. Yes. They said a total of 58 wraps of cocaine were immediately recovered from his pants. After which he was taken for excretion observation, during which he ingested 69 pellets of cocaine in 7 excretions, bringing the total number of wraps of the Class A drug recovered from him to 127, 27, weighing 1.388 kilograms. That's a lot. Yes, they said also that 3 consignments of illicit drugs heading to the United Kingdom was on Thursday and Friday intercepted at a courier company in Lagos by NDLEA operatives. They're really doing great job. You know, kudos to them. You know, sometimes you're doing business, another person is doing business, you're wondering, like, I'm not selling. You don't know that people are doing extra things.
I'm even just happy for the suspect. Because no boss for him. This one not too much.
A lot.
Okay. I have a story here, the major headline. So the federal government last night urged the university lecturers to embrace constructive consultation instead of confrontation over the issues relating to their declared dispute with authorities. It said, having agreed to most of the terms of the lecturers' requests, there was no need for their union to abandon talks and declare a 2-week warning strike. The government told lecturers that the no work, no pay principle remains an existing labor law that could be invoked should the strike disrupt academic activities. While government remains committed to peaceful dialogue, it will equally enforce existing laws to protect the integrity of our education system and ensure accountability. A statement was made by the Ministry of Education, and they said the Academic Staff Union of Universities yesterday had asked their members to down tools for 2 weeks from today in a warning strike against what he called government's failure to meet its outstanding demands. He warned that the strike could subsequently become indefinite. So they said, should the strike hold, academic activities in public universities will be disrupted. The Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, and Minister of State for Education, Professor Suwaiba Said Ahmed, said most of the requests have been met during negotiation. They said it was learned that 2 ministers, the permanent, is the permanent secretary now? I'm trying to get this information. Yeah, permanent secretaries in the Ministries of Education and Labour, the Solicitor General of the Federation, officials of Salaries and Wages Commission, among others, participated in the negotiations with ASU where the offers were made. And an official asked, he said, what do the lecturers want? The government put all the cards on the table and made offers that addressed almost all the requests. Yet, representatives of ASU said they would go away with offers before making known their response, but they never did. Instead, they made good their strike threats, and according to him, he says there's more to this. So we've been talking about how they've gone back to the table to listen to ASU's requests and all the demands that they had made, and they had promised that they were going to, follow through on that. Why is ASU not, responding to them, and why are they insisting on having the strike? I think there's actually more to this, but let's see how it goes. Do we have any other story, or do we move on quickly to the next paper? Okay, The Punch. A major headline, ASU rejects federal government's proposal, begins 2-week strike today. I've taken that story. Edu recovering, no plans for replacement, according to presidency. Naira hits 10-month high on strong FX inflows. 2027, no pact with Jonathan, says Obi. Fubara retains 8 commissioners, prepares fresh nominees list. Tinubu under fire over presidential pardon for drug offenders. More Kwara abductees rescued as military sustains pressure on bandits. Killings, Adeleke denies hiding Amoteco commander, blasts APC. 2 arrested over mourner's death at Oshun's funeral party. And Polaris Bank shines at 2025 Buffy Awards.
Okay.
What stories
Quickly,
do we
I
have?
have Kwara. Can we take a story?
Yeah.
So I have Kwara abductees rescued as military sustains pressure on bandits. So troops of the 2nd Division of Operation Fasanyama have rescued 3 more kidnapped victims from the Babala forest in Kwara State. This is as the Nigerian Army intensifies its offensive against bandits terrorizing communities in the area. It said troops deployed at the patrol base stormed suspected bandit hideout and successfully rescued Mrs. Oluwa Busayo Taiwo, 25, and her 3-year-old son, Taiwo Irayomide, who was abducted at Okeodo September 28th. The rescued victims are currently receiving first aid treatment at the patrol base sick bay and will be reunited with their family members in due course. And they said in a separate operation on the same day, troops on routine patrol along a known bandit route also rescued Mr. Mohammed Sani, a 40-year-old tea seller from Karima community. The bandits reportedly fled upon sighting the patrol team, abandoning the victim, who was found in a pool of blood. 1 Dane gun and a cutlass were recovered from the rescue, and it says that the victim is receiving medical attention at the patrol base clinic. So well done for, still being on the offensive and being able to rescue some of those that have been victimized. This is just a long war against terrorism and insurgency. I just hope that someday we'll just talk about this in the past, because every day we wake up, we're talking about them just going into communities and, killing people.
Let's take a short break here. When we come back, the paper reviews continue. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. We're still reviewing The Punch.
Okay, so I wanted to take Governor of Rivers State, Governor Fubara, of course, who is now prepared with a list of nominees for his ministerial appointments, commissioner appointments, to the House of Assembly now. And according to this list, he's going to retain about 8 of his appointees who were not affected by the Supreme Court order that dissolved the earlier nominated list.
Okay.
So 8 of them will be the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Adeze Ore, with due respect to your doctorate. Charles Amadi, the Commissioner for Chieftaincy Affairs, Christopher Green, the Commissioner for Sports, Joe Johnson, the Commissioner for Information and Communications, Chisom Gbali, Youth Development, Victor Key, the one for Agriculture, Dr. Roslyn Oranta, Women Affairs, 14 Maximus, Energy and Natural Resources. But then the Punch now say the source is a reliable one who is pleading anonymity because he doesn't have authorization to share this list. But they have listed the people who were saved from it. And so there will be new names in the list that will be submitted, and we'll see how the House debates.
Okay. So opposition parties and political figures, including the ADC, that's the African Democratic Congress, and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar have condemned President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, his recent decision to grant presidential pardons to dozens of convicted criminals, including drug traffickers, describing the move as a grave setback to Nigeria's anti-drug campaign and a dangerous affront to justice and morality. The presidency on Saturday released a detailed list of 175 individuals who were granted the 2025 presidential pardon. Among them were the late nationalist Herbert Macaulay, the late Major General Maman Vasta, and Maryam Sanda. We know that Maryam Sanda, she was sentenced to death for killing her husband. This happened in Abuja. The pardon, which also included presidential clemency, covered more than 30 convicted drug offenders and several others jailed for crimes such as homicide, fraud, and illegal mining. The development has sparked a lot of widespread criticism and debate across the country. So in a statement on Sunday, ADC National Publicity Secretary Bolaji Abdullahi described the move as pathetic and a national disgrace, arguing that it undermines the nation's war against drugs and encourages criminality and damages Nigeria's international reputation. Anyway, this is debatable. And
yeah, I think we're going to be talking about it later on. So Daily Sun, federal government ASU, no work, no pay. We've taken that story. Free Kano protest. Igbo women backs Showore as brother warns against playing politics with his health. Atiku ADC knock president over pardon for criminals, 7 jail terms. A drug war, man 52 excretes 127 cocaine wraps concealed in private parts at Kano Airport. CBN mops up 2 trillion from banks to curb inflation on productive lending. Mbas exit marks PDP's end in Southeast, according to Okechukwu. And Zenith Bank shows strong outlook with 51.3 billion interim dividend payout. What do we have in the Sun?
Defection. A founding member of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Osita Okechukwu, has described the defection of Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu State from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to APC as a watershed moment in the region's political history, signaling what he called the final goodbye of the Southeast to the PDP. Speaking with it's even myself, I'm feeling it here. I'm feeling the pain for them. Speaking with journalists in Enugu yesterday, Okechukwu hailed Mbah's move as a pragmatic, rational and inevitable decision, noting that it symbolizes the complete collapse of PDP's once formidable influence in the region. According to him, the party that began the Fourth Republic in 1999 with control of all 5 southeastern states now has none left in 2025. He also recalled the words of the late Dr. Chuba Okadibu, who once lamented that the PDP pays good deeds with bad coins. Yes, I feel for them, but maybe at some point it might become a one-party.
Does this not
we cannot become a
one because all this defection.
Does this not leave some truth to the thoughts of the spokesperson for the resigned suspended minister for innovation, who had said that it was the governor who was behind this
the whole problems,
because he wanted to come to the APC and he didn't want to have a senior man that he will have to defend.
Politics in the
politics is politics.
Let's move on to Vanguard. Non-oil exports, local investors lose out of 4.8 trillion boom. 100 billion loan sparks war of words between Alaya, Autumn in Benue. Zenith Bank declares 51.3 billion interim dividend payout. You can't fight drugs by freeing traffickers, ADC slams Tinubu. Renowned activist Abiodun Aremu killed by hit-and-run driver. State regulators ask National Assembly to halt central gaming bill. U.S. genocide debate sparked by federal government's failures. And prostrate, Lagos hospital performs first Eurolift surgery in Nigeria.
I'd like to know about that prostate, but I have the gamers.
I have it.
So the Federation of State Gaming Regulators of Nigeria have written to the National Assembly through their lawyer, Oleola Nupekon's SAN, asking that they halt whatever is called the this bill that is before the House, a national or whatever legislation that would now bring gaming back to the federal government, as opposed to the Supreme Court judgment, which had put it exclusively. So there was a Supreme Court judgment in a matter between Lagos State, the Attorney General of Lagos State versus Attorney General of the Federation in 2008, where the Supreme Court rested the matter of gaming to be an exclusive of state governments.
Okay.
And with this new bill, they will be, reversing a Supreme Court judgment. Of course, Wale Olanikpekun wrote in the bill that a bill for an act to repeal the National Assembly, National Lottery Act and enact a central gaming bill is a violation of that court order, and they should not be seen to be waiving the stand of the Supreme Court. I hope that they are able to resolve this, but this matter is just starting.
Yeah.
So for me, Makadi, the approval of 100 billion naira infrastructure loan by the Benue State House of Assembly has ignited fierce exchange between the current governor, Hyacinth Alia, and his predecessor, Samuel Otto, with both camps trading accusations of deceit, mismanagement, and hypocrisy. I don't know the predecessor, I don't understand. Anyway, the governor's press is saying that PDP criticism of the loan is misguided, hypocritical, and born out of bitterness. They accused the former governor of mismanaging state resources and leaving behind a mountain of debt. According to them, they say he left 187.7 billion naira in direct debt and another 170 billion naira owed by local governments. And this is the burden that this current administration, that's the earlier government, had to deal with. And was the earlier government was borrowing for tangible, verifiable projects that would directly benefit Benue citizens. So unlike the past administration, what they are borrowing for is for something that is more tangible. They said that it's a development-driven intervention to finance key projects, including hospital renovation, smart school reconstruction, road completion, industrial clusters, and a new Benue State University of Agriculture, Science and Technology. But they said, meanwhile, the past administration is saying that despite the fivefold rise in federal allocations since subsidy was removed, the earlier administration, that's the current one, has little to show for inflows. He said that there's no transparency of major projects. They cited a 68.3 billion naira contract for the 13-kilometer Wurukom Air Force Base Road and another 73 billion project allegedly linked to the governor's hometown in Vandikia. And none of this, is not transparent. So they're asking that this administration should, to audit their financial statements, record of federal interventions such as Shopee and bailout funds. The people of Benue deserve to know why a government that has received unprecedented allocations still finds it necessary to borrow.
Yeah. We have to go, but I want to quickly take this story. Nigeria may soon become a medical tourism destination for choice for prostate treatment following a historic medical breakthrough at the Prostate Clinic TPC in Lagos, where a team of doctors led by Professor Kingsley Kweme, consultant urological laparoscopic and robotic surgeon, successfully performed the first urolift surgery in Nigeria. This is a good one. They said the clinic was founded by Professor Kweme, a Nigerian medical expert who returned from diaspora and blazing a trail in advanced prostate care. They said this could end years of costly dependence on foreign hospitals. A lot of history here, but it's a good one because they were able to conduct the surgery with little or no invasion. And yes, and in a few hours you are ready to go home. Unlike if you do anything prostrate, you'll be taken care of in the hospital for a couple of days. So this is a good one. Congratulations to Nigeria. Congratulations to Consultante Kweme. A lot of them. So they talked to journalists about the matter as well, and it explained in detail how they were able to, I don't want to mention most of the things, how they were able to conduct that surgery. And everyone is looking forward because there's a research that they carried out that many Nigerian men are beginning to suffer from prostate, and it's costing them a lot of money going for foreign medicals. Thank you so much, ladies. That's all we can take on the newspaper reviews. When we come back, we'll move on to the topics for today. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. President Bola Tinubu's decision to pardon Maryam Sanda, that's convicted for killing her husband in 2017, this has sparked mixed reactions across Nigeria. Supporters view it as an act of compassion and rehabilitation, noting her reported remorse, good behavior in prison, and the need to reunite her with her children. They argue that the president's constitutional power of mercy is meant to balance justice with humanity. Critics, however, see this pardon as unjust and a blow to the rule of law, suggesting it reflects privilege and selective justice. They insist it dishonors the victim's family and sends a dangerous message that serious crimes can be excused under the banner of mercy. The debate now centers on a moral question. Where should society draw the line between justice and mercy? You can join the conversation on 02016-352013 or 09024163440 or tweet us at TVC Connect using the hashtag YOURVIEW_TVC. So you can join this conversation. So presidential pardons is not something that is just done in Nigeria. It's done all over the world. In fact, I had to research into some of the Greek history, where it started from, because I wanted to have like a precedence of where this started from. And I realized that sometimes, you know, I think there was, when they newly started, for instance, Greek history gave that about 6,000 petitions needed to have been written by members of the public before somebody is given a presidential pardon. And when they saw that many people would not get the presidential pardon, because how do you get 6,000 people to come and say, okay, oh, we want this person out? They had to move it to giving, you know, a leader at the time, or the king at the time, the emperor at the time, an authority to say, I can, without having many people writing a petition to support that, right? And then it moved from, sometimes they say it is out of mercy, other times it's because there's a sort of political interest at the end of that presidential pardon. And from, you know, country to country, somehow they have adopted that the president has the power to look around and say, okay, you have been of good behavior in prison, you have spent almost all your years that you're supposed to serve, and it's time to get this presidential pardon. But, you know, sometimes when it happens like that, the people on the receiving end, people who have been hurt by those criminals, for instance, in the prison getting that, you know, pardon, how do they feel? What sometimes they feel so aggrieved, it seems like nobody is paying attention to their emotional needs concerning the situation, but just because government wants to do, you know, pardon people and move on with the politics as it is. So I would like to hear the initial thoughts of the ladies when you saw that this particular woman was pardoned among other people at this time. What did you think about it?
Okay, remember when this lady's crime had come to light, and it was really heartbreaking to see how an innocent young man who was fighting for his marriage, he had said she had a temperament. She was, you know, he always had to manage her, balance it with his family, defend her, stand up for her. And his friends saw how gruesomely she had murdered him in the heat of an argument, because, you know, he suffered for being kind. And a lot of us, of course, stood on the side of justice. We thought it was unfair that she would do that and then pick up the phone and try to hide it and call her family to hide under the protection of an elite family, influential family. And now she's simply benefiting from that as well, because now the argument online is that her family had written on her remorse, her good behavior in prison, and pleaded for this prerogative of mercy to be extended to her. And they also pleaded on humanitarian grounds on the side of her kids. The same kids she would not mature enough to look out for. You know, so just, you know, if she was looking out for them, that's why in Africa they'll tell the woman, wait till you gain, when it's made them sack her. For those who were even victims of abuse. Wait till you gain, when you go in office, go tell them, why didn't you just divorce him and go? Wait till you gain, even to divorce and live an abusive marriage. Society blames women. So for this kind of woman who could not even prioritize and get help with that she needed for her temperament or whatever mental health problem she was dealing with that caused her to be such a vicious woman to this kind man. now, you know, she's now getting that prerogative of mercy on that same humanitarian ground because of the kids. I do not fault a prerogative of mercy, and I do not fault the president exercising it the way he did. That's why it's a prerogative of mercy. Usually, after the Council of State has decided on those who are befitting of a prerogative of mercy, they do the list and send to the president. He appends his signature, and they are free. They are either free to go, absolved of their crimes, but they are not free of the guilt. And a prerogative of mercy does not clear the record, as opposed to what we feel. All those politicians that got under the president's Buhari's prerogative of mercy that got away. It's like they think that it was pencil that write it. It's eraser that wipe it, that kind of mentality. No, it was in the records. We're going to know you for the crimes you were convicted for. We're going to tell your kids of the crime their fathers was convicted for, and the prerogative of mercy that their father enjoyed. You know, because we're a forgiving nation. So I cannot fault what the president did. I'm not in that boat at all. If, God forbid, I'm in a place where I needed the prerogative of mercy, God forbid that they are going to use criticism to bully the person that will sign for me. So it's when you're the beneficiary, I can't fault that. But the thing is that in Maryam Sanda's case, it's difficult, it's tough for me because there was a lot of emotions for me at the time. Young girl. In fact, I felt like when somebody slapped sense into her head. When I saw how remorseful she was in court, how she was screaming, she didn't want to go to jail. But I felt she really remorseful because she sees the life she just snuffed out of a young man, what she has cost his family, his mother and father, or she just doesn't want to account for her crime. She seems like a child who never was held to account, who never faced consequences all her life. She grew up into an adult who didn't think there were consequences. And so that emotion is disturbing me. Did not let the thing to rest.
But she was convicted in 2020 now. She's done
6 years of a life sentence for a murder, a gruesome, premeditated kind of murder. It didn't, you know, It didn't sit well. But I don't fault the president at all.
Okay. Nima, you spoke like my mind a lot on this particular topic, this particular subject, because for me, before I talk about Maryam Sanda, there was something else you talked about, that a pardon does not erase guilt. And that is why for the Ogoni 9, people who are criticizing it are saying that they want an exoneration of the Ogoni 9. Because giving them a pardon is assuming that they were guilty. So we'll see how that pardon works. But concerning Maryam Sanda, I too personally feel like she shouldn't have been given this pardon. Not that no human being deserves pardon. We all do. We are all, you know, we are all flawed. But for me, I don't think that it sends the right message. I remember how emotional it was. It was so hard to know that she had, you know, murdered her husband. And also the circumstances in which she did it. It showed that this was a man that was just willing to work with his wife. So, you know, the kindness that you talked about. And then this was a woman who in the heat of whatever emotion she had, she killed her husband. And at the time she said that she went through his phones and realized that he was talking to other women and she couldn't take it anymore. But then the way she killed him, he had multiple stab wounds. My thought is, in the heat of the moment, when you stabbed him the first time and you saw blood, why it didn't stop you? You went over and over. You were ready for the consequences of whatever happened. You didn't care about the children. But you know, during the trial, you would see she had her baby, she was feeding her baby, and at the time she finally was sentenced, the cry, you could hear that this was someone crying from the depth of her heart, you know. So a part of me too just felt truly sorry for her and for the children that they had brought into the world. So they had lost their father through murder and they are now losing their mother forever. These children were orphaned as far as I'm concerned. So yes, that there's a possibility of being able to raise her children again. That is, you know, that's good. But the family of the man, how would they feel about this? How would they feel that someone who gruesomely took their child's life has been given, is walking free? Right. You know, as you know, Nigerians, we laugh about a lot of things. A lot of people, men are coming out and saying, this is not the first situation where we've had a woman gruesomely murder her husband and somehow got away with it. So are we passing a message that men, it's okay if a woman feels aggrieved to the point that she murders her husband and she can, you know, that somehow the law would look into her case and let her go. So for me, I just don't feel that it sends the right message. Which I'm sure she's truly sorry, but there are some crimes that when you commit, your life will change forever. You have to face that for as long as you need to face it. And if it was a life sentence, maybe it should have been reduced instead of completely allowing her to go free. Yeah, that's how
we'll take a short break here. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Do stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. We're still discussing the presidential pardon that was given to Maryam Sanda, and Amaka is ready. We have thoughts.
So with this particular issue, I feel drawn in different directions, you know, and I can't help to be a bit emotional about this particular situation because first, you know, my heart goes out to the family of the man that was murdered, because, you know, when something happens to someone you love, your family member, all you want is justice for them, and you can never be rational as to, you know, any pardon or mercy towards that person. But, you know, being a Christian and being a Catholic, you know, there's something that they taught us growing up where they say there's big sin and there's small sin. For the longest time, my brain used to tell me that there's a big sin and there's a small sin. But as I matured to being an adult, I just feel that sin is sin. Who classified big sin and small sin? And that brings me to the point whereby we all know that Section 175, you know, of the Constitution grants the president the power to, you know, for prerogative mercy, and he chooses who he wants to choose. And anyhow, regardless of how we want to see life, luck goes a long way and plays a huge role in circumstances of our lives. Yes, and it's also important to have the backing of people, regardless of whatever it is that happens in life. Why am I saying this? Within the justice reform system, we know that if you're sentenced to, you know, if you go to prison, that you also have a right to petition to be to have reduced sentence, to be let out early due to good behavior. That is part of the justice reform system, regardless of presidential pardon. And also having people, like you talked about the history of the Greeks, also having people that can step in and petition for you is also important. You know, it's so funny how some things can happen to some people. People just say, this one a bad case, they forget you. Well, you can be lucky. You have people that will stand on that matter. 10 years, 20 years, they are pursuing this thing. They are writing petitions. They are talking to everybody. They are using all their connections. That's life. And that's why I say luck also plays a huge role. And we can see what happened, that even during the case, when this thing had happened, there had been a mention of mental health issues as regards this woman, where it was stated that, like by the friend of the husband, that the woman has a bit of mental issue, but the husband was covering that up. And not to excuse any bad behavior. You know, we also saw that during the trial that she had a baby. So she was a new mother.
Nursing mother.
Yeah, nursing mother. And as women, we also know that some women suffer from postpartum depression after having a baby. And most times their hormones are more enraged than normal, right? So that doesn't excuse bad behavior. But regardless of that, or regardless of the pardon, and my mind still goes to the family of the person that has been hurt. Because I always say something, it takes a bigger person to forgive a wrong. It's not easy. It's not easy to just forgive that someone just that someone calls you stupid. To even forgive that is heavy, how much more taking a life? So that's why I said I'm drawn in different directions, but I don't fault the president for exerting his rights. And also, the girl that was lucky to have a family that kept pushing and pushing for her, for her to be part of this, and maybe they kept a record of her good behavior and good deeds, so that when it was time, it was able to work in her favor. But I also believe that in situations that are so grievous, and I blame the justice system for a delay in executing death sentences. Because the reality is that if, let's say, after 2 years or 3 years, this sentence, the death sentence was executed, we will not be having this conversation.
We have a call on the line for Larry. Good morning, for Larry.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. Yes, there's this
We can't hear you.
you know, thing that, can you hear me? Hello.
Continue.
All right, thank you. There's this question that has been ringing in my head, you know, and I would like to ask you ladies, please, is there any man that has murdered his wife in prison in Nigeria as we speak?
Yes, the banker wife, the Ibadan case.
We have precedent on that.
If there is somebody, is there anyone that is part of this presidential pardon? I just, you know, I think we are a biased country. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you.
Oh,
So,
okay.
he was
Please,
asking
can you
if
respond
the-
to that? Yeah.
Was asking if there was any man who had murdered his wife. Plenty day. And the one that have been convicted someday.
He's asking about
Whether they made the list, that's another matter.
Maybe next year's list.
Because Council of State did not see everybody. Do you know how many awaiting trial cases
That we
should be
have.
free by now? That, you know, the police had already botched this investigation, and I don't know why those people are still awaiting. Tope was, you know, talking about her security, who had someone
Yes,
who
in the
was arrested
farm.
because someone had been electrocuted at her farm, who was stealing cables. And they waited endlessly to even present the person in court. So there are several let's need to be careful here. There are several things not exactly right or perfect with our justice system. Because I hate to say that our justice system is flawed, and the one country is better. It's flawed everywhere in the world.
It's the one they give to us that we're
Yeah,
using.
no.
But
It's even flawed everywhere in the world.
Yes.
Everywhere in the world.
yeah.
So because Biden had also done a prerogative of mercy when he was president, and the entire world criticized because of the list of people. And he did a very free one where he says people for drug-related offenses were just, you know, in every that's where I will fall the Council of State. Because why just 175 or 147 people that they now arrest?
They can't give
Go on,
everybody
take your
now.
call.
Yes, we have a caller,
They can give everybody, why
Amaka
not?
from Port Harcourt. Where are we going to
Take your
keep
call.
them?
Take your call.
Amaka, are you there? Good morning, Amaka. Yeah. Continue. So you're asking.
As part of
Good morning.
Good morning.
I like what the last caller said.
Okay.
That is there any man that killed the wife that he has released? And hope is not man no man. We have some people that are poor, that are in the prison for one thing or the other. Then number two, hope is all around 36 states. Yes, like there's a man I know that worked for me that maybe used something to hit the uncle on his head. After 4 days, the uncle died.
Oh no.
The man is still in the prison. All people like that will be compensated, even though I'm not supporting those things.
Okay.
Okay? Hope is all over.
so
Thank you very much.
Like that again after releasing them.
yes.
Thank you, Amaka, for your
So,
contribution.
I was going to say that it can be done in a larger number, because you're asking. Our prisons have over inmates that we have in Kirikiri alone is more than 5,000, and totally overutilize the capacity of the prisons. So we do need prison, you know, decongestion in certain ways, and there are several measures that the justice system has put in place, from the magistrates exercising certain powers of their visit and all of that, to the president's prerogative of mercy, to the AG's Attorney General's nolli prosecute powers for those who are already on trial. And these powers must be exercised in public interest. I don't know how this one is totally
Exercised.
public interest now. I don't know what the Council of State was looking at, but I would expect that the Council of State is not just waiting for influential elites connected families before they look at the list. You want to, I would like to read the list for except for Maryam, Sanda and another name that I read. I don't know most of the people on the list. That's Farouk Lawan. These two people for me are very privileged people. They're enjoying their privileges. That's what I see. So we would really like to see the entire list and how somebody of a nobody benefited, who was truly of good behavior. If you enter the prison and ask the warders, you will find plenty of people who are just remorseful. Plenty of people who have accepted God and started to preach in prisons, who I would like to see on this list. But what we are discussing now are people on this list who are privileged. Maryam is privileged, and so is Farouk Lawan.
Okay, so we have another caller, Henry from Akure. Henry, are you there? I think our call is delayed today. Henry, are you there?
Yes.
Good morning.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Good morning. The topic you are dealing with, the emotional, and I believe that the president must have, and the Council of State or whosoever committee that sat on this matter will have investigated and find out the merit. Yes, because the number are so much, 170 something, you will still have some people that wanted to ship in certain names. But for the lady in question, there's one thing we are not asking. It's possible that the family of the man and the family of the lady are united concerning the children.
That's a good
Maybe
point.
probably that's why they're pushing this
They may have resolved.
because I believe that those committee members, they are not also, they are human beings. They know what happened. And because this case is still fresh in our memory, that's why emotion is still high.
Yeah.
Assuming that spent like 10 years, 15 years, we'll have forgotten about it. All of us will be able to ask him, okay, let us leave her. But because it's still fresh, and I believe that maybe government also should put a caveat. If somebody is sentenced to life imprisonment, I think you should stay like 20 years before you can
getting the
think
pardon.
of prerogative of mercy. But whatever the president has done, there are people that are supposed to do the detailed work. We need to find out, like drug bearer or whatever, kidnappers. Those are the things we Nigerians want to hear. But let us find out details. Maybe some of them, remaining 5 months, 3 months, we don't know. But we are just talking.
We need all the details.
You are welcome.
Thank you so much, Henry. We'll be taking a short break here. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. So we are still talking about this presidential pardon, and we've gotten a lot of callers talk about it in different ways. And I had to quickly also look at other countries who are intentional about where they want their people to go, countries who want to do away with any form of corruption, and they have their styles. So let's take, for instance, China. According to their history, they've only had, in the history of China in so many years, they've only had 9 presidential pardons. There was a time for many, many years, there were no presidential pardons. And, it's subject to what the West started talking about them, that, no, you people have to set up, because they don't even have any panel that would, sit on it. There's nothing like that. So it's just on special occasions. Maybe the president just feels like, just gives that presidential pardon. So they've had only 9 in their history, right? And looking at that, I was asking myself, are we ripe for a presidential pardon in a country that we're still trying to curb crime? We're still trying to deter people from criminality. We're still trying to deter people from murder. from, you know, many of these things that are against morality. We are still trying to see how we can make our country better. And if we can stand and say, because some of the Asian countries that have been able to do away with any form of drug, like for instance, Singapore, if they catch you with drug as small as this, that's the end. You are gone. There's no pardon anything in any coming years for you. Are we ripe for a presidential pardon because we want to curb certain things? Are we just accepting everything the West has given us?
So I'm so happy that you said this. Like, it's like, wow, someone finally said it. So you can see how fast and how quick China has advanced.
Sweetheart, I'll take Mrs. Ibrahim and I'll come to you. Good morning, Mrs. Ibrahim. Are you there?
Good morning.
Good morning.
All thanks to producer wasting our credit.
Sorry about that.
You see, I'm a grandmother, an elderly woman in my late 50s. I quite feel for the families of the deceased. Our children nowadays, their temperament, those that are even complaining about her pardon. Pardon or no pardon, her children will still come after her. They will still come after her. By the time they grow up and they are being told that their mother killed or murdered their dad, God help her. So it's not like the president pardoned her, but who knows, her children might not pardon her tomorrow in future. So her children may not pardon her, no matter what. The children's family will still express their pains to the children, that's the grandchildren. So Maryam is still not free yet. That is just what I want to say.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Next time she will learn.
Thank you.
Yes. So back to what I was saying. So we can see how fast China has advanced, because for you to be a public officer in China, for you to be a politician, you have to think about it very well. I'm sure your family member won't call you for meeting to say, this is your bad character. Are you sure you want to take this position? Because if you do anyhow, you will see anyhow. They don't take nonsense.
Yeah, they don't.
And that's why they've gone so far. And I wish, and every time I always use that, as I say, I wish Nigeria that we can become that strict. But unfortunately,
at least for certain crimes.
But unfortunately, we are where we are, and we are dealing with ourselves. Because when you look at it, when you go to the prisons, there are so many people that have served more than if they were actually convicted, awaiting trial. They will have served. They've served like 5 times.
They over the sentence.
The sentences, right? There are people that they are wrongfully accused,
yeah,
right?
Detained.
They don't even have money to be able to appeal
get a good lawyer,
the convictions. So if you really want to talk about prerogative of mercy and the committee, like for me, I always say the president does not just wake up and then do something. There's always, we have the president and the presidency. And we have the team of people that it is their job and responsibility to ensure that fairness has been done, it's been transparent enough, and that they follow the certain policies and assessment that we're supposed to use to come to this particular conclusion. And then I know that it's easy for us to always say to say the parents or the family of the deceased, but we always also remember that this is not personal, because the crime that was committed against the state,
yeah,
and not the family. As in, do you understand? So when they're also taking certain decisions, they're not putting certain things into consideration, because it's now seen as a mercy, because the case is against the state. Yeah. So we need to also look at certain perspectives in terms of this decision.
Let's take a call and then I come to you, ladies. Abdulrazak, are you there?
Hello?
Are you there, sir?
Hello?
We can hear you. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, I've been listening to your conversation regarding this Maryam and Sanda's case. I've had a lot of other versions, even this morning, that it is actually Maryam and Sanda in-laws, that the parents of her dead husband
that
called for this.
Okay.
So that she'll be able to take care
of the children.
Yeah, I haven't said this, and I actually thought of it the first day I saw it. I had it in my mind. It could be in the in-laws that actually call for this, so that you can come and take care of it. But my own grounds with this is, can poor people equally do the same? People are not connected. Who don't know it, because you know the father of the late husband was one time chairman of PDP. Was PDP chairman, so he's a big political
Was it
leader.
her or him?
So can this kind of thing also, can poor people who are not connected also have access to this kind of pardon? Okay, President, our daughter-in-law actually killed our son, but she has 3 young children
for us.
Can you grant her presidential pardon so that we are suffering taking care of the young ones that are very young, less than 1 or no more than 2, 3? Can they also have this kind of Thank you. That's just my own.
Yeah, thank you so much for that contribution. We'll take a short break here. When we come back, we'll take more phone calls and messages. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. We're still discussing the presidential pardon of Maryam Sanders. And,
so, you know, we've had a few people call in and say, you know, allude to how influential Maryam Sanders' family is, as well as her late husband's, and maybe that played a part in her being, you know, pardoned. That may very well be true, but, you know, we also need to understand that there are other ways that people get on this list. And so some people, you know, the inmates themselves write applications. Some people have their lawyers who are constantly on this case. There's some, the prison authorities, you know, recommend for them to, you know, be pardoned or, you know, be on this list. So there are different ways that you can get on the list. So it's not, the reason I'm saying is it's not just only rich people or influential people that get on the list. If we look through the 175, there are names that I have seen, names that we don't know them. You know, someone in Katsina, manslaughter, he has a reduced sentence. So there are different random people, regular average Nigerians that have gotten pardoned based on how they have behaved while while they were incarcerated. Some people have gone out of their way to even further their studies or learn something while they're there. It shows the remorse, rehabilitation has happened. Just so that we don't look at this solely as a list for those who have special privileges, you know. And secondly, we're talking about how many so far. I think the 175 is not enough. I think that would have been a longer, bigger list. And the reason I'm saying that is we have our prison system. We've always talked about it. They overflow. There are just too many people, you know, that have not even gone through the courts. They've just been arrested and then locked up for many reasons. We have read in the papers where different civil service organizations make it their job to go into these prisons, look at different cases, and they always tell us of so many people that have been wrongly convicted, not even properly convicted, who are in prisons, and then we have prisons that are packed full. So for me, I wish we had a list of those ones in particular who should have been pardoned. You know, if you do a proper investigation and then 175 is not enough. Now, for the special cases of this gruesome murder, you know, someone mentioned that it's because it's still very fresh in our minds, and that's why we find it hard to accept. And for me, I feel that that is why we should have been a little more careful with how this was addressed. Because apart from the punishment that this person is serving, it's also a way to to serve as a deterrent for many people to come, for many people, for the rest of Nigerians, that there are consequences for some actions. There are some things that you cannot get away from. There are some stories that we tell our children. You see, if you do this, this is how you end up. And then our children hear that maybe not really. Do you understand? So that's why, for me, I feel we could have had a longer list, especially of Nigerians, poor Nigerians, who have been locked up in prison for so long without proper conviction and no one to speak on their behalf.
Okay, so we have a caller on the line, Yakub. Good morning, Yakub.
Good morning, Bisi. And Sister Anima, good morning. Amaka and Maryam, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Bisi, for me, I just want us to pick a lesson from this case. Especially my own advice go to married people. Don't allow anybody to kill you. Immediately you find out that you saw a red flag in your marriage, please pick a race. Whether you are a man, whether you are a woman, leave that marriage. Because if anything happens to you, this kind of a thing will happen. Even though the president does not pardon this woman, do you know a governor of the state can just wake up one day and pardon her? And then the chief justice of the federation or of the state can just wake up one day and pardon her. And then now, according to one of the callers, says that the family of the deceased went ahead and said they don't want they are finding problems. It is a lie from the pit of hell. You know why? They have a lot of people that can cater for those children and their family. But this is something that will happen because as a man, you allow your wife to kill you. At the end of the day, they pardon her. As a woman, you allow your husband to kill you. At the end of the day, they pardon him. The life continue. The life continue.
True.
See, that is the message I'm passing through this morning. As a man, don't allow anybody to kill you. As a woman, don't allow anybody to kill you. Pick a race from the marriage. If you say any friend to us, thank you and God bless you guys.
Thank you. Very wise and sound advice. But there was something, I'll come to you, Nima. There was something Maryam raised which was very important. Said we should have had more people, being pardoned because there are so many people who, many of them wrongly accused, many of them good behavior. There are lots across our prisons who are still languishing there. Babies being born in prison and all of that. So the list should have been extended. But I want to say something that, first of all, presidential pardons are not fair. We cannot find any form of fair. It's like waking up to just offer somebody favor. I can choose to favor you and not favor her, and they will say, why you? So it's not fair. That's one. On the other hand, the responsibility for the choice of the 175 people, who should we put it on? There should have been a committee that reviewed.
There's a committee.
Council of State that reviewed it. So what were the metrics for reviewing it? We should know, because when we watch all these American movies, we see that they have parole hearing. Where you come, you present, your warder will say you have done this. They did all of that. So why did they choose to give only 175? If they had given more to the president, don't you think the president would have signed off on more?
So there are humans
they had
that
a lot
are
of
members of the Council of State. Whether or not there are rules that they must follow, there's always sentiments and biases sitting at that table. And
that's the problem.
The only problem I have, which is not avoidable as well, is the level of access that some of the beneficiaries will have to them.
Okay.
So the families of, whether it's the Sanders that put the appeal, whether it's the husband's family that put the appeal, is the access that is speaking for them. Farouk Lawan was a video, it was a landmark case against, corruption. It was so landmark. I remember my late father then, I was still in an undergrad, and we used to gist about it, say, that man is going to go to prison. That's the end of his career. I felt and said, Nigeria, it's not possible. And I said, he will go to jail. And then he went to jail. My father said, how did you know? I said, because I know that there will be times that Nigeria must do differently. But he's now been pardoned. Does not wipe out his conviction.
Exactly.
It just, means that, he can then have certain privileges like what an ex-convict could not access, he can access. That's what the prerogative of mercy gives him.
It cleans you off.
No, they clean anything.
No,
it doesn't clean your
guilt. It keeps your name.
Just gives you
a
form of a level
normal
of
access now.
not full exoneration.
It gives you pardon
from your
consequences
of your crime.
So you go
an ex-convict, for instance, cannot go back to politics, cannot do. But with a pardon, you can then try. So
your life is giving back to you then.
Your life is giving back to you, but not totally. So the history of it is still there. It's still a Google search
so
away.
it's not expunged from your
file. Expunge is the word.
Yes.
So I do not think that the Council of State did this in the right public interest. You know why I say that? When you do it in the right public interest, justice will also be seen to have been done.
Yes.
The fact that there are certain criticisms around this. Remember that Oyo case of the woman who was in the Ministry of Justice Oyo State who had murdered her husband? And she was pardoned by the governor of Oyo State,
Yes.
We sat down like this and said, is it because she's a woman?
Yes.
We asked questions because we didn't think it was fair. But there's a way that she would have served the term. 6 years, it's quick now. People did there 30 years. They never see some. You know, if it was at some point that where our memories of injustices have been washed away with time, we will not go sit down here the vex. I cannot fault the presidency of prerogative of mercy because I know it is a privilege. God has, it's a way out that it has been put there. And you know why it was a way out? Maka was talking about China. I wanted to respond.
Before you respond on China, we have Izuagbe from Abuja. Good morning, Izuagbe.
This one is my brother.
Your person Izuagbe.
Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Izuagbe. I come from Abuja.
Okay, welcome, sir.
Presidential pardon, prerogative of mercy, section 175 of the Constitution gives the president the power to do what he has done.
Yes.
Section 165 and 175, people were pardoned. The magical one. But the issue here, just like Maryam said, the list could have been longer.
Yeah.
We realize that there are some people, juveniles, children, who are in jail today just because they stole a chicken. Just because they pickpocket. And these children who are in those jails are waiting to become hardened. They are going through an extra way of being tutored into being hardened criminals. I believe the president should have looked at such people with very light offenses, and try to rehabilitate them and bring them out and put them through learning skills.
True.
As for Maryam Sanda, actually, the husband was somebody I knew very well. The weekend that man died, the following Monday, we were to have a business meeting.
Oh no.
For which somebody came all the way from London. So it was a very sad one. Just like everybody has said, in relationship, we should learn to understand the signpost and know when to say
goodbye.
Honestly, the most hard of all is the pardoning of drug dealers and kidnappers. What kind of message are we sending to the NDLA chairman who has been doing so much job, and those boys who are trying to hold down drug barons and drug addicts? Are we saying that we are rewarding crime? Sentencing is supposed to serve as a deterrent. The way it is now, people out there can go ahead and do whatever they want to do, knowing fully well that in the near future they could as well be pardoned. I don't think it is the best way to go. When we are looking at granting prerogative of mercy, they should look at light cases, people whose cases are very light.
Yeah, light cases. Thank you so much, Izuagbe. Thank you. Thank you for that. We'll take a short break. When we come back, Nima will complete her thoughts. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
welcome back. Nima.
So I was going to respond to Amaka when we talked about the prerogative of mercy and countries that don't have such legislated prerogative of mercy. And they look at the countries who have it. They are all colonies, former colonies of Britain, where the Queen was legislated to be able to do no wrong. The royals were not, it was impossible to see them as people who committed crimes.
They were seen as gods.
Yeah, any crime they committed, they could get away with it. And so they were the ones who now exercise prerogative of mercy to the titles and the people that they liked. Now that we have brought it into democracy, we are practicing it like this. And our own law, 170, I think it's 175 of this law. Yeah. No, let me use the one I know, the 174. That's for the nulli prosequi says it must be exercised in public interest and in the interest of justice. Is, for instance, that, you know, somebody in the course of self-defense is arrested for murder, tried for murder, and sentenced to, you know, for murder. If you exercise prerogative of mercy, it will still be in the interest of justice because that person was forced to kill to protect someone else or themselves. Even though, you know, in the course of a trial, they were not able to establish their innocence. Those are the criteria that you'll be expecting to hear. I am not saying that what they did for Sanda or the beneficiaries is wrong. I'm thinking, of course, I read some of them. 3 years for mining, you know, some for
drugs.
You know, but I'm thinking, why is it impossible to see the interest of justice
in this case?
In the case, we cannot understand, we cannot empathize. That is easy. But the interest, the public interest of this, the interest of justice of this should also be very visible, so that we don't end up, because the royals, the Queen and England were very abusive government. They went into people's countries, displaced people, stole from them, colonized them, and now we are copying a culture of theirs.
It's already
in our laws now. Yeah. So we must now deviate from that method that they use theirs to do better. We must be seen and also to do better. We have a congested prison system.
Yes, we do.
In our country, and forgive me if I am wrong, it is not rehabilitating as we thought when we amended our laws that it's supposed to. A lot of people are there awaiting trial and depressed. They've even served the sentence of the crime for which they are suspected. They've been arrested.
So Nima, you are advocating an overhaul of our constitution.
A total of our prisons, of our accused, of our convicts. So that we don't just end up with 75 people and people that we suspected have been arrested and sentenced for 3 years for mining. Because you know, as Maryam talk now, I see the list well. Mining, drugs, fraud. Yes, they were convicted, most of them, for these offenses, and clemency was given to some for this kind of offenses. This is when we must be looking deeper for other serious cases.
Intentional about
that when it comes to public light, we will see public interest and we will rest and say that that's the purpose of the Council of State. So that the president is not signing something and opposition sees something to talk.
I get you. Before I come to Amaka, we'll have Hassan on the line. Hassan from Lekki, good morning.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
Please, whatsoever we are going to do, let us see that justice is done.
Okay.
Because this issue of Maryam and other people that were granted this mercy, I don't know where it is coming from. Because what I'm seeing here, I'm seeing a president not being thorough before appending his signature of approval of prerogative of mercy. Because somebody was killed, and such a person is a son of somebody, is a junior brother to somebody, is a family member to somebody. Then they now came after 5 years because their family are influential, because we saw the trial. We saw how the mother came up with a lot of things, trying to play around with our intelligence. And now, we saw what even play out now, that she keep on pressurizing up to the extent of getting that prerogative of mercy for her daughter. Her daughter will be working free, quite okay. But you think that she's free? She's not free. And we're encouraging criminality in one way or the other. Not only her. Look at what happened to this one from Kano. Lawan. Look at people like Ibori and Co. We are encouraging criminality. We are not fighting criminality. We are encouraging it. Just be influential and just go there 2-3 years. You will have to get your mercy and get help from it. You see, we don't think we can fight criminality by encouraging criminality. We don't do it. It's wrong. You cannot kill. You know, and be hiding under influence of drugs, under this, under that. And people will be writing for you. You understand? To get scot-free. You are encouraging people to begin to take laws into their hands. People will now begin to rethink that, look, since this is a big man, we will take laws into our hands. And Mr. President must sit up. I'm talking personally to my man, Mr. President. Tinubu, I voted for him. I campaigned for him. Don't allow people to be cooking up books for you to be attending your signature, because people will end up calling your name, not their names. We saw what happened during Buhari's time, when there was this even accusation of bribery and corruption in this prerogative of mercy. So as a president, the buck stop on your table. Please be thorough. Look at it. Look at the people
before appending the signature.
You append your signature.
Thank you so much, Hassan. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So before I make my point, I wanted to correct something. Like Nima, the prerogative of mercy within the monarchy is not absolute, because we had back in the day the monarchy couldn't just give prerogative mercy. It had to go through the church, through the Pope, and through the church, and everything. And then they had so many monarchies that were beheaded. They had the ones that were banished and all their lands and titles taken from them. But what I want to say is that, you know, it's easy to talk about Maryam Sanda because we know the case that she killed her husband. Let's talk about issues of all these kidnappers that are killing multiple people, drug lords, the terrorists.
So let me pause you, Amaka. We'll be cutting off to join a live broadcast of the House of Reps Committee on Petroleum Downstream. It's an opening ceremony. Viewers can continue watching Your View by scanning the QR code on the screen right now. Thank you.
So we need to also, so I agree with what the caller had said, that, you know, what is the, because part of what they said that was the assessment, criteria was old age, people that were reformed, that had gone through the open university, things like that, right? But then I'm wondering, how do these terrorist people, kidnappers that have killed multiple people and all this
become old?
Drug dealers, the ones that are old, are they the ones that were pardoned? Because if not,
maybe they showed that they were remorseful.
Because these are the issues. Because
but let me take this comment from Otuba Benga. He says, "Good morning, ladies. On this presidential pardon, my take is that justice demands accountability. Mercy offers compassion. In a murder case such as that of Maryam Sanda, justice must come first. Life taken deserves consequence, and family of the dead deserve justice. A presidential pardon should be rare, granted only when guilt is acknowledged, repentance proven, and society's trust preserved. Justice without mercy is harsh. Mercy without justice is dangerous. The Council of State and the President must have thought it through before granting the pardon. May God heal our land."
Amen. We have to go. I think we've touched on everything. There was something a caller said which I found important. It says people with lighter offenses should be considered for pardons like this, and I agree absolutely. The people also need to see the public interest of justice. It was Nima that rightly mentioned that. And, you know, the advice is that no matter what the president gets on its table, before he appends his signature, just like Hassan has said, he must be very careful that he's, you know, doing it, because at the end of the day, it is his name that people will call. Let your good not be evil spoken of. And, you know, to the family members of the people who are hurting, we still appeal that God will give them the grace to forgive and let's go. It's happened. No presidential pardon all over the world would ever satisfy everybody. But we also need to be very careful. And then we can start looking at, do we need a presidential pardon in our country for where we want to go to?
The English pardon those people who came and stole from us in Africa.
Yeah,
they pardoned them. Yes. They are mercenaries. They sent into the world.
Thank you so much, ladies, for
whether
your
they kill
contributions.
their business.
That's all we can take on the show today. Join us tomorrow for another interesting show. Bye-bye now.